Star Wars The Acolyte is not getting a season 2. Can you guess how Star Wars fans are reacting to that news?
Woke Disney will never learn.
More offensive, woke, racist, misandrist, DEI garbage!
Our Star Wars show has been canceled. And I'm gonna be transparent and say that it's not a huge shock for me. Of course, I live in the bubble of my own reality, but for those who aren't aware, there's been a rampage of vitriol that we have faced since the show was even announced, when it was still just a concept and no one had even seen it.
What just went down? Let's break it all apart because, trust me, this drama is only heating up. The Acolyte Season 2 just got the axe, and the reason? A full-blown meltdown from the so-called woke actress and director, who apparently couldn't handle reality. And now, they're turning against woke Disney itself. This is a disaster of epic proportions, packed with backlash, legal threats, and a brutal showdown between Lucasfilm and Disney's top execs. This show was already a low point for Star Wars, but now, it's the ultimate cautionary tale of what happens when agendas overshadow storytelling.
What a swirl of its emotions it has created. Online fans, it had some fantastic highs and a really promising ending for the show, but it's not going to be getting that season 2. We will never.
The Acolyte never should have been a TV show in the first place. There simply wasn't enough content to fill 8 episodes. It should have been a movie. It could have actually been really solid, but after Solo flopped at the box office, Lucasfilm pretty much just stopped making.
But if there's one thing I know from being a lifelong Star Wars fan, it's that nothing is truly ever over. There is no way Lucasfilm is abandoning this guy, and there's no way his storyline doesn't pick up where it left off.
Are you the most nervous or the most confident woman here today?
I'm terrified. I'm absolutely terrified. I've worked on this for 4 years. It's my baby.
The truth is, we are so spoiled now with Star Wars media. I know that it can feel sometimes like, well, I like this thing and I don't like that thing, and if you don't like The Acolyte, that's fine. It doesn't matter. The reality is that Star Wars, in and of itself, is not just a vast universe full of many different characters, many different eras, but it is always, always, always about the spiritual journey of what it is to become who you are.
Because the drama between the Acolyte showrunner Leslie Headland and Disney is reaching a boiling point. After the show's disastrous performance, Disney pulled the plug on season 2, but Headland? She's not going down without a fight. Instead of walking away, she's threatening legal action, claiming Disney owes her big time. According to Headland, her contract guaranteed a second season, and she insists that CEO Bob Iger himself approved. Early content, leading her team to shoot expensive footage for a continuation. And we're not talking pocket change here. One VFX-heavy scene alone cost a staggering $7 million, featuring Darth Plagueis and other lore-breaking elements that fans say completely wrecked Star Wars canon. Now, with the show axed, Headland is demanding a $1 million payout that was allegedly part of her deal for future episodes. But Disney? They're not buying it. Iger and his execs argue that no official contract for season 2 existed, and that filming extra footage was purely speculative. And let's be real, the numbers don't lie. The Acolyte bombed, failing to crack the top 10 Nielsen ratings and getting slammed with overwhelmingly negative reviews. Yet Headland refuses to accept the reality, dismissing criticism as fake and fueled by bias rather than legitimate concerns about the show's writing. But here's where it gets even messier. In a recent interview, Headland tried to downplay the cancellation rumors, saying she's heard nothing from Lucasfilm and is simply taking a break after years of working in the Star Wars universe. But behind the scenes, reports say she's gearing up for a full-scale battle, threatening to expose Disney execs through interviews and podcasts, hoping to pressure them into reviving the project. And guess who's backing her? Kathleen Kennedy. The driving force behind The Acolyte is standing firmly in Headland's corner, pushing Disney to reconsider. But with Disney's financial struggles and their clear mission to cut failing projects, the odds of season 2 ever seeing the light of day? Slim to none.
We have to face one hard reality as a country. The new Star Wars was not as good as everyone thought it was. It may seem fun to go back and recycle the past we loved, but we end up with no sustenance. Instead of a fresh new Star Wars, we want the old, just recycled and plopped in our tummies.
Probably no shock to anybody, but here you go. Oh, Star Wars. Oh, Lucasfilm. Oh, Kathleen Kennedy. If The Mandalorian had to say something, this isn't the way when it comes to Star Wars. I mean, The Mandalorian worked, and Kenobi worked. Things have worked, but there are also things that have not worked when it comes to future projects that have been announced for Star Wars, specifically when it comes to the Rey Skywalker one. And, well, Stephen Knight is no longer writing the Rey Star Wars movie. The film will now likely not make the heavily rumored December 2026 release date. Jeez, who knows what's going on with that? Probably the similar things of like, he wanted to do something else. Lucasfilm was like, nope, you can't do that. It's got to be like this. And blah.
I was interested in doing a film that could affect kids. And I'd studied mythology and everything. And I decided I'm going to make a modern myth, and which teaches, again, the basics of what you have in a society. Because mythology is there to glue a society together. Give you common ideas about who you are, about what your society is, what you believe in, what your God is, what your values are.
I love what you said about wanting to entertain audiences. Critics saying Disney's too woke, but you're just putting out storytelling.
We are. Look, I don't really like the term woke because I think it's an umbrella term that I'm not 100% sure I even know what it means, and one could argue that sometimes it's used too liberally. That said, our primary purpose is to entertain, and where we can entertain responsibly, obviously we try to do that. We try to have a positive impact on the world, but the first thing we need to do is entertain.
The biggest question now is, will Disney cave to the pressure? Given their aggressive cost-cutting strategies and ongoing legal battles, hello Gina Carano lawsuit, it seems highly unlikely. Disney knows that reviving the Acolyte would be a massive financial risk with little to gain. Right now, their focus is crystal clear. Move on and invest in projects that actually connect with fans. But hold on, the drama doesn't end with Leslie Headland. Enter Amandla Stenberg, the lead actress of The Acolyte, and yet another key figure in this controversy. After the show's underwhelming performance, Disney decided to cut ties with her as well. And just like Headland, she's not taking it quietly. In a shocking move, Disney dropped Stenberg from 5 upcoming Star Wars projects, citing The Acolyte's poor ratings and plummeting viewership as key reasons. Let's talk numbers. While the show had a decent debut with 488 million minutes viewed, it quickly nosedived off the Nielsen charts, failing to meet Disney's high renewal standards. For a series that reportedly cost over $100 million to produce, this was a huge financial disappointment. But here's the kicker. Stenberg's firing wasn't just about the ratings. Her social media presence and behind-the-scenes behavior also played a major role. One of the biggest red flags? A controversial music video she posted on Instagram, despite repeated warnings from Disney to take it down. The video, packed with explicit language and political undertones, was seen as a direct response to the backlash against the show. Disney execs weren't having it, but Stenberg refused to back down, ultimately sealing her fate. And now, she's firing back. Stenberg claims her dismissal wasn't about performance or professionalism. She believes she was targeted due to her race and LGBTQ+ identity. In her eyes, the backlash against the Acolyte was fueled by a rampage of hyper-conservative bigotry and vitriol from Star Wars fans. According to her, the criticism started long before the show even aired, and she insists the outrage was rooted in prejudice rather than legitimate concerns about the show's writing. In an emotional series of Instagram stories, Stenberg addressed the cancellation, saying, "It's not a huge shock for me," while calling out critics for harboring hatred toward anything different. She also pointed fingers at right-wing audiences, accusing them of review bombing the show on platforms like Rotten Tomatoes, where the audience score tanked to a brutal 18%, a stark contrast to the much higher critic score. The battle lines have been drawn. But with Disney tightening its purse strings and distancing itself from the Acolyte, one thing is becoming clearer by the day. This show isn't getting a second chance.
In response to racist hate from Star Wars fans, Amandla Stenberg wrote, recorded, and shot this music video in 72 hours. It's as cringe as you'd imagine.
Now keep an eye out for these silly racists and how they use it to describe anything they Disney's outrage marketing has officially reached its peak, and now there's a diss track by Star Wars Acolyte star Amandla Stenberg against Star Wars fans and how terrible and mean they are. And what is this timeline? We have to go back. Why is this happening?
Great review. Maybe if you had got your eyes off my tits, you could have watched the movie.
So bored, don't have video discourse. It's just kind of jiggling around. Some kind of pagan ritual or something. Huh. All you people are racist. I want white people to cry. That's my goal. You people are silly racists. I've been oppressed for 400 years. I, some young Hollywood starlet. Yeah, can't believe it didn't work, huh? Can you imagine?